It is 8:30. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I first want to acknowledge the fact that the Iowa women won, sort of, and the Iowa men did win,
Yeah, sort of.
sort of. So, it was a nice day on Saturday.
Yeah.
And,
Reminder the women tonight or today.
they play at one.
1 o'clock.
At any rate, the first item on the agenda is to acknowledge the minutes from March 18th and March 20th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meet with the courthouse maintenance supervisor.
Neat. Not much new. I did get a estimate back with mini splits and, it's more than I thought it would be. Several reasons for that. It's $8,540.
How many minutes splits is that? Two?
Yeah, and it's one of the things we did last year is we were trying to get as much of the equipment replaced as we could that needed replacing before they went to this new, coolant profile.
Mhm.
So now whenever these units are installed, not only are they more expensive, but at the same time, because, the testing and installation of equipment that's required by the contractor, it's just over $12,000 for them to be able to do the install on these things. That and our economy that's currently running out of control, and that's why we're looking at $8,540. So I guess I'll have to figure out whether or not you want to just bill us for that. I know it's more than what we talked about before.
Mhm.
Where are they for?
There's a conference room right below us right here, and then the passport office.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Passport office has always been, it's been problematic ever since those units down there started becoming a problem. Coming out twice a year and refilling them, and then last year we put some new replacement nipples in there because, I think they mentioned it before that they had a, quick connect hose was coming in, and we put, permanent ones in because the other ones were leaking. So
Mhm.
that's where we're at.
Anything else?
No, other than the units are not gonna get to another season.
Mhm.
Oh, I did discover something in the clock. I went up to be set with 3 clock faces last week.
Mhm.
And, the one on the west side's got a crack that's developing in the clock face down on the bottom. It's about this long right now and then it
Mhm.
spreads out. So that's something we're gonna have to deal with when we get up there. I have to drill some holes where the cracks end. So that instead of crack continuing out, it should kill it off and then in the hole. And then I can put some screws and nuts in there from both sides so that I can secure it so that it's not doing this on us. That's most likely what caused the crack to begin with. And I am supposed to hear something this week regarding that other gear that I'm having made right now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that, Dave.
Have you talked to the guy that's gonna work on the clocks?
No, I haven't. I had trouble getting a hold of him for some reason. I don't know why he's going offline, but he's been offline for a couple of weeks now. I'm pretty sure that whatever we run into up there, we can figure out if we go if we have to. Basically, we have to pop the 2 hands off and then there's 3 bolts on the inside and we can take the rest of the unit into the inside of the building and then take it apart from there. And so the only thing that's really in question is how the hand's gonna come off.
Mhm.
So there's either a nut holding them on there, or sometimes they got these little, not a roll pin, but a little taper pin that they drive in. And then you just have to drive those out and work both hands off.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, not this time. Next item on the agenda is to meet with the county engineer / weed control specialist.
You are a funny lady. Good morning, supervisors. We started hauling contract rock to stockpile at the county yard last week because the roads were too soft for us to be running heavy trucks on them. We just destroyed the rock, the routes to where we're gonna put rock. We have, we feel dried up enough that it's worth giving it a shot, so we're hauling out of the Jefferson County quarry and trying to get the routes that will be most impacted by the road work on Libertyville Road taken care of first. So right now they're hauling on NEPA up north of 130, or excuse me, 136 north of NEPA. And then Yarrow, kind of getting everything the farthest out and then moving back towards town. I've brought a copy of the plans that have the mapped routes that we'll be putting contract rock on for you guys to keep for reference. If people ask you what's going on and what we have planned, so you guys can have an answer for them. Because I know that you won't, heck, I don't keep it in the back on the tip of my tongue where we're at and what we've got going on for all those routes. So it's nice to have that to refer to. And then with the rest of the folks, we hope to start rocking shoulders on Hemlock north of Libertyville Road. That's got some pretty good shoulder drop offs. We want to get those brought back up. And that should take care of us for the week.
Okay, next item on the
Just a
agenda.
minute. They are hauling contract rock now this week.
Yes.
To the roads.
Up, yes.
That's
Start
what I
on
thought you said.
136 up north of Napa, and then Darrow's the next one on that list, and then they'll work their way pretty much from the Stockport area in, or excuse me, Lockridge in.
Okay, thank you,
Towards
because
those.
I'm gonna get questioned about it, so. I'm
And
sorry, Susie.
Hang on, real quick. I had a gentleman come in Friday when we talked about the lighting at the intersection of 32nd and it'd be Burlington, Old 34,
Mhm.
whatever. Is that's city lighting,
well, that was DOT lighting,
right?
and and at that time, the DOT must have had an agreement with Alliant that those were not metered. And then when the DOT gave that stretch of road to the county, they also absolved themselves of any responsibility for the lighting. Well, now Alliant wants to meter those and have one of them paid by the city and one by the county. And plus the city and the county to pick up the tab to put a meter in and put the new style lights in. So they gave me the estimate of what that was gonna be, and I just sat it on the corner of my desk and said, well, I'll wait to see what the city does. Because 3/4 of that intersection is city and 1/4 is county. And I don't think it's fair that we pay for half the lighting. But
Well, I don't either. I'm not sure that. I don't know. I agree with you. I mean, it's a safety issue. I'll reach out to, not that the tree will bear fruit, but I think I'll reach out to Chris Cooper. Talk to Chris about it, because I don't think, because both directions, because if you go north, it's in the city until you get past, well, TSC anyway.
Mhm.
You go south, it's the city till you get, well, clear down where the speed limit changes.
I think the lot on that corner is actually still in the county on be the northwest.
Okay, where the trail comes through.
Yeah, that northwest, that lot on the northwest is still county. I believe.
And I don't blame the city for not wanting. Only up, I don't know why they couldn't put in, you see a lot of these flashing lights and stuff, they have a little solar panel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can,
Well, those big overhead area lights that pretty much need to be hardwired, I think. But I don't understand why, now that it's not DOT, Alliant wants to charge us when it was,
exactly.
when they did it gratis for the DOT.
That's why I thought I'd reach out to Chris to see if they had any influence. I don't know what they will, but I told the gentleman I'd ask because I didn't know the answer.
And I don't know if they don't want to put new poles up to boot, so it was.
If they change the
I
light
guess I would-
bulb, the light would work, right?
I believe so. And I think it was last fall, and I think I asked if Troy's boom truck would reach that high, and I was told no. So
Well, yeah.
we can't change the light bulb and just keep going as is.
Are you guys done with your questions?
I believe so.
We're just trying to get through this because we have a public hearing. Or 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
I know that.
Okay.
Joe. Next item is discuss and consider STBG grant application for Packwood Road rehabilitation.
Okay, so we applied for a earmark grant from Representative Miller Meek's office. For some reason, I only made one copy of the map. Basically from where 117th comes over, 120th comes over south to H33 Brookville Road. We applied for a grant to do pretty much the same thing we're looking to do on Libertyville. The funding on that, we applied for a $4 million earmark because I don't think we have a chance of getting that because we've been so lucky to get pretty much two back-to-back earmarks. But $4 million seems to be about the top of what they grant. So we applied for $4 million. And then to make up the rest of the $7 million, almost $8 million, we'd have $1 million of farm to market and then a little over $2 million of it coming out of our STBG fund. So to get that in the queue for 2029 fiscal year, we need to get that applied for sooner rather than later. So I've worked up the paperwork, have the project description all written up, and I just need your guys' authorization for Susie to sign the grant application. And we can get that submitted, and if we don't get the earmark this year, I can keep applying for the earmark, and then we can just, once the grant's applied for, we can change years without any big production. So we can kick it down the road if we're still waiting on that grant, or we can keep kicking it down the road till it gets big enough to help pay for more of the project.
I'd make a motion to approve
Second.
or authorize the chair to sign. So, well, the STBG, has that already come before the RPA, or will that come before the RPA?
That will come before the RFP. That'll be it. Have to have the applications in by next week, and then they'll approve it and add it to the Surface Transportation Improvement Program at the next meeting.
Not bad. Do we need more than one?
Sure.
You don't sign on it. That's what I thought.
Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is discuss and consider integrated roadside vegetation management plan for submittal to the DOT.
All right, the Iowa Department of Transportation, in conjunction with the Tall Grass Prairie Nature Center up through UNI, has a program where counties with integrated roadside vegetation management programs can get free native grass seed. I think Scott tried this on a few places before I got here. And at that time, he just used all native grasses. With talking with, at the weed conference I was at, and then also with getting corroborating information from other county engineers that have dedicated programs. Having the native grasses helps cut down field erosion and sedimentation into ditches. So over the long run, it will cut down drastically on our ditch cleaning needs. Having the management plan in place qualifies us to get free seed and also get grants for free equipment for ditch work and seeding and maintenance.
You know, Highway 30 by Ames, Story County has that. We've had a lot of that.
And the way I look at this, having talked with other county engineers, if we can add the native seed to our normal seed blend, then our normal seed blend will act as a cover crop until the natives kick in. And then, and that was the problem Scott had, is he just used all natives and they take 3 to 5 years to really establish. So then you've got a bare ditch that's going to erode. So you're not gaining. So you need to have that cover crop in there. And we won't be doing dedicated sections. What I anticipate is that as we do ditch work in areas, when we come back into reseed, we'll use this revised seed blend so that there won't be any additional cost for the department to do it. It's just more of adding another input to our hydro seeding.
It's gonna take different equipment to seed this seeding.
No, we should.
We'll do the same thing.
Yeah, we'll do the same kind of preparation to apply it with our hydro seeder and.
It'll go through the hydro seed.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah, the native blends, they're grass seeds. They're,
But I know some of that stuff with CRP and stuff takes a special equipment to get it to go through because it's so fluffy and stuff.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
well, thank you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay. We might have more weed questions as we go along.
I'll zoom in when I get back.
She just wants you to suffer
There
through.
may be a conflict of interest there because if he's adding more weeds to the grounds, then he's gonna have more weeds to eradicate. And
No, ideally, the natives will choke out the weeds.
Oh,
So,
okay, all right.
well, I was really surprised by how positive the county engineers that have dedicated programs were with the effectiveness of it. So I'd been kind of just pushing that to the side as something to worry about later, but after having talked with a number of them, I think it's.
Thank you very much for
Time to
putting
get
up with us.
Thanks, Dwayne.
All your.
Meet with ambulance director.
Good morning, that is me, still, for now.
I got that.
So you guys did get rid of, or get tired of me.
Which direction is the ambulance goal?
Yes,
You're the ambulance director.
it is going in the direction I think that it should.
Oh, okay.
So this is just a kind of a heads up copy, I guess, I don't know what to say, of the medical director's agreement. And again, we're hoping everything should be in place for us to start on April 1st. But this is just kind of the general agreement for him to take over. And then on the back page of this is what I assume is going to be the cost of words are hard this morning, of the malpractice insurance coverage. that Joe and everybody else has been working on to get us that. So that's the one they sent me last week, I think. And that's an annual cost. So just so you guys have that, I'm gonna go through it again. I did send the county attorneys copies of it. I'm gonna go through it again just to make sure everything looks good and then pass it along to Dr. Lissy. And talking to him, he should be able to be here. I think the first meeting in April, like the 6th. I think he said he'd be able to be here for that. So that'll be an opportunity for you guys to ask him any questions in person and just kind of get a feel for him. Like I said, I've worked with him for several years at Atumwa. He's been their medical director over there for quite some time. He is super, easy to work with. He's progressive, which I do like. He's willing to let us try things and, kind of push the envelope a little bit on making EMS more involved. So I think he's going to be a great asset here. But
So, if you haven't already, they haven't, because you didn't know, I don't think you knew what the dollar figures were going to be. You probably need to get with, after you get to so you need to get with Shannon and incorporate this into your budget.
yeah, make some adjustments there.
Yeah.
On the third page, you need to change from Lee Demick, chairperson to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See,
Just a minor change.
yeah,
but
absolutely.
By the way, sitting in a chair.
Right now, maybe you won't be in a half hour.
Oh, well, that could be.
You might be up one.
I was doing my best not to mention short.
I know you were, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
you.
that's a good catch. I didn't pay attention to that. So,
Just minor.
yep, absolutely.
but Needs to be corrected.
So short, you didn't see me sitting in the chair. I know.
I
Steve.
see you now.
Okay. So this is actually, it's just to discuss.
Yeah. So I just wanted you guys to have that information.
So once you hear back from the attorney's office, then we'll put it on as a discuss and consider, which
Yep.
it's gonna have to be pretty quick considering April 1st is, what are we at, March 23rd, a week, a little more than a week
You
away.
probably better have it by Monday
Yeah.
Yep.
if they do.
Okay.
So, other than that, things are trucking along. All of our vehicles are operating like they're supposed to. I don't think there's anything big as far as maintenance goes on any of the trucks. There will probably be another PRN paramedic applicant on next week's agenda as well. So he's kind of in the interview process right now. I think he's going to be a good fit for us. Just another part-time paramedic is good to have on our roster. So other than that, that's about all I've got.
Thank you very much.
Questions, Frank? Cool.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys.
Next item on the agenda is to meet with Lisco to discuss proposal for the VoIP phone system. Come on up, guys.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm living the dream.
Thank you.
Susie should be in heaven. Iowa one, right?
So first, I actually wanted to touch base on what we had discussed last time with the issue. I wanted to let you know again that we are sorry that happened, and we did address that internally, change some internal policies. So that certainly won't happen again in the future. So just wanted to address that first and foremost. I did put together. This is a little bit different than how we normally present our proposals, just because I wanted to be pretty straightforward because there are other offers that you're going to be comparing to. So I made the first page on the proposals very short and simple. It just includes everything that would be included in the VoIP system. Behind that, I included some additional pages which give the breakdown of that VoIP solution that would be given to each department. So there you'll see the breakdown of what would be included at the auditor, the recorder, you know, all the different areas that would be included in that. So if you were looking for a little more information to explain what's on the first part of that proposal. But then it brings up that normally we provide in our proposals, everything that is included in our service that we provide to you. And because we are the current phone and data provider, there are a lot more services than just the VoIP. And we don't want you to get a bill and then there'd be a surprise on it. So on the back portion of this, I actually broke it down even further to include all services. So this will include what you currently have with us, all data service, all VoIP service, and fax, and everything included in there as well.
So. excuse me, The $1,200.70 is.
So that is just for the departments that are going to be included in this.
That's the monthly rate.
Okay. And that includes, you'll see at the top under the courthouse, when you go to the page, this is the breakdown of all proposed services by department. The courthouse, you'll see up there, you do have some discounts on there because you do currently have phone and data service with us. So you have the discounts on a couple of line items, and then you're also getting a pretty low rate on your data connection here at the courthouse. Specific to the fact that we are your phone provider for everything else here as well. And then on that very front page, it does show you your standard monthly recurring, and then you'll see down below the non-recurring charges. That'll be what would be required to be paid to get everything set up. Pretty minimal there because we do include most of that in the services. I think the biggest charges you'll see there are the VoIP routers. We do need one for each site. So I think aside from the courthouse, we have 2 offsite locations that we're interested. Would be one for each of those sites.
So. I don't know the answer to this question now. How important are fax lines now? I know here we don't ever use ours to speak of.
I mean, we still get faxes, not a lot, I don't think.
Medical records, seems like that way a lot in the treasurer's office and here. A lot of DOT stuff goes through fax.
And obviously those items are items you'd be able to strike off if you determine, hey, the recorder doesn't need a fax. So,
Which is why I wanted to make sure those were listed out
Sure.
individually, so you could make those changes as needed. So, and on the very last page, I just put, so there's some additional information. I know we went over last time about what's included, what features can be offered. The features are pretty endless. There's a lot of options there, but I did just want to include a couple different notes that we had touched base on last time as well.
although from experience, I would probably work with every individual office and determine how they want their phone for their office to work. And then, as we migrate.
Sure.
Because like, for example, Mark might want an attendant for the treasurer's office where they can select either DMV or property tax or what have you, and then he can divert phone calls according to what staff.
So if we were to do this, how do we accomplish it? What I mean by that is we can't shut down.
Right. So what I would do is, we do put our own router on site because if we put and from past experience, when we put VoIP through customer routers, every router is different. Sometimes you have bad behaviors from routers. So we put our own in for the phones to work. But first, we keep it separate from your computer network, so we don't see what you guys are doing here. We would then deploy the phones without turning off your current phones. So everyone would have two phones on their desk for the short term, the live current phone that you have, and then the new phone, which will just sit there. And then, once we were ready, department by department, what have you, once everyone's ready, then we would make the transition where we would program the old phones to stop working and the new phones to start. And so in that interim time, though, when they have both phones on the desk, we could do things like have people set up their voicemail, things like that, just get everything in preparation. And then when it actually comes to service turn up, I do the actual training. So it's pointless to train you 2 weeks or 3 weeks after the phone gets put on the desk and then you don't use it. It's more practical to train you and then make the transition. And of course, we stick around and make sure everything works to everybody's liking. So, with all these systems, it's very simple to make changes. So, I mean, it isn't working quite right. We think it would work better this way. Those are easy, simple changes to make because these phone systems are all full featured as compared to older systems.
Susie brought to my attention, and I see too, that public health is not included. Does Chris already have?
She does.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Answer your question.
I think her phone system was dying, and so that's why she reached out to us for a service. So,
This is what she's got is similar to this then?
yes.
Okay.
What does she pay a month then?
I don't have that information right off the top of my head, but it's gonna be pretty similar rates to this, the way it's broken down, the same. So,
Because in my mind, I'm thinking, would it be better if we were all together with that,
mhm. Yeah, and you would be integrated into the same system if they wanted to be, correct? Yeah, yeah.
So that way you could call her by calling an extension instead of calling the public number and going through the front door.
Yeah. I just wouldn't want to get in a situation where you wanted to not be honest on it, but you did, but you didn't, but you did, you didn't,
Yeah.
I just think we should all be together.
No, well, obviously, I mean, what's for continuity purposes and nothing else, but also I can't help but think that it makes the end dollar less.
Me too. I was thinking, at least I'd like to check that out,
Right. Um,
Well, our VoIP customers get direct access to an engineer.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm
Right.
at your beck and call 24/7. And so when calls start dropping,
Sure.
I'm the man.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Do you guys have any other questions?
no, we just have to put it on the agenda to make a
Decisions?
decision. I guess and this would not just apply to you guys, but how do I want to say this? It's not fair to you guys, not fair to any of them, but the least amount of disruption as possible when we make the transition. But I do know in talking to, Tom, yeah, that he's looking to transition out well, and we're getting kind of like me and getting long in the tooth, so it's the phones, so we need to probably do something to move into, I think the last time we changed was 1853, so
I think it's 54.
54, okay, I couldn't remember for sure, but anyway. So we'll get it on the agenda to discuss and consider so that we can make a decision.
Mhm. I would like to see Chris incorporated with us,
Sure.
that option, this one and that one. Sorry.
like see hers listed on here as well? Is that what you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could certainly do that. Yeah, and so if you were to implement this change and you were mentioning that you would like everyone to be included, you know, if that were something that you would need put into here, the additional county locations that are not included in here, we can certainly add those as well.
Mhm.
Because I do know that the ambulance is in on this, so I think Chris would be the only one that's not right
That's what I
now.
was looking at. Yeah, I think for
So,
the continuity word you mentioned
yeah.
would be appropriate here.
So I think you just go from there. I mean, you guys have talked to them and know what you want,
Mhm.
what you need as well as the board, right? That's what we feel.
Yeah.
I have enough trouble. I mean. I digress here, so apologize, but I was watching the new Taylor Sheridan series the other day, and the little girl asked, grandmother was talking about hands on the watch. And she's going, your watch had hands? You know, you think about in this day and age, there's very few watches that have hands.
Yeah.
So I can remember rotary dial phones before you. Yeah,
And the neighbor listening for everything you're talking about.
exactly right. Yeah, we had that too. It was called party lines.
I mean, genuinely, the courthouse is on VoIP right now. It's being converted to analog,
Yeah.
like what you have at
Right.
Old House,
Yeah,
into the phone system.
yeah.
And so, and then everyone has to share the lines, and that all goes away the treasurer office, every call looks like it's the treasurer's office. Same for the auditor.
But this doesn't affect our email or anything.
Nope,
Okay.
nope, no change that.
You guys have any more questions?
No, and Abby and I have fun with it.
Thank you very much. I think if
Thank
there are more questions, Christie and Abby will get a hold of you.
Perfect.
Sue, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna throw the public health office together and send that back to us. Is that correct?
Yeah, so do you want the other county locations included on there as well? I know, I
I
checked
thought
with
that's-
like Jefferson County Clerk, County Attorney. I think there were a few others. Some that just weren't wanting to make
I
that
don't know what,
change, some
I
that,
guess we need to know what you guys are doing.
The county attorney's got a separate system. And so I cannot speak to it, but I've understood that there would not be the ability for our office to change, but
And I think,
I'm not
I
as
remember having
well-
that conversation, but in the case,
Yeah.
and to Susie's point, she has the same system,
Yeah.
so we want that
Sure.
rolled in.
Mhm.
okay,
I think the sheriff is in the same situations because of tracking, security
yeah.
and
mhm.
other.
He
Yeah.
recently switched to a cloud-based
Yeah.
phone system
Yeah.
of some
Yeah, so you-
sort, so they're already.
Just simply add the public health to it?
Yeah, and I think
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
okay, yeah, I'm good with that,
Yeah, we can do it.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
have a good day too.
I think Chris, that'd be a assumption he's gonna change this time. That's why she gives you.
Huh. I like that. You too. Next item, discuss and consider continuation of community services network usage. And Christie, you probably know more about what's going on here than we do.
So previously, the mental health department had to use this server for HIPAA and safety. And the only person I found that still uses it in the county is the general assistance VA stuff, and he actually doesn't use it because he doesn't want to store that information, so.
Right.
In my opinion, I don't think at this time we need to do that.
So you think we should not get involved in this or participate in this?
So I'd make a motion to discontinue or not continue or.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Make committee report. Catch what you guys have.
I don't,
Would that be a HIPAA violation?
I've tried to give it back to the person that gave it to me, but not been very accepting.
Not the only person sick.
Abby, can I just say something? Pay no attention, man. Okay.
She doesn't. Oh gee, what week was last week? Last week was the 16th, right? Okay, so ECI,
Mm-hmm.
and despite what our illustrious state representatives indicated to our illustrious radio personality, it is still on the floor, and both bills have indeed been renumbered, and both bills have been referred to the Appropriations Committee, and they are funnel proof. Simply put, there'll be an up or down if it comes out of the committee, and
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Let's see, we did a Board of Health meeting on Wednesday at the county shed. And I think it went well, and I had a subsequent conversation with Shannon. And she concurred that we can move those revenue dollars to help offset the expenses that have been incurred. We are yet to have that discussion, but and there is a budget work session later. I also spent an hour on KBIZ radio. Remind me who the gentleman was I talked to, because Alice was on vacation.
Jeff Downing.
Jeff Downing from Cedar Rapids. We had a good time. And the Progressive Housing Board met Friday with Hudson Grove Properties LLC. We have 18 units rented, effective April 1st.
So you rented the two-bedroom apartment.
Yes, the lady was able to, in fact, she was there Friday again as well. And one of the 3 units that we had available is, I don't want to say this, is accounted for, whatever, but will not move in until mid-April. So we adjusted or prorated the rent for that month. Hudson Grove Properties provided us with a financial accounting, and we have all of the previous bills that QA management dumped on us paid, with the exception of we still owe, which will be paid this month, we still owe $1,000. Let me rephrase that. Will be paid in April. Still owe $1,000 to the plumbing entity in Oskaloosa. That was a $4,000 bill. So we've paid that off. We paid all of the other vendors that they chose not to pay, and we are in the black. And with the savings on the insurance, it's almost like renting a 19th unit. So we will exceed gross revenues of about $10,000 a month. So we have sidewalk repair we will be doing this spring/summer. We have ongoing bug checks, the word I want to use, pest control, thank you. And we have fire suppression come in, and we also will have Winger come in this next month, test the sprinklers and everything. And so I must admit that from November 1st, when we assumed, shall we say, full jurisdiction, I am very pleased at where we are at today compared to where I thought we were going to be. And to point out that 0 tax dollars are involved in this, so. And I wanted to also give kudos to Bruce and Andrea Hudson of Hudson Grove Properties. They have done this free gratis. In other words, they haven't taken their contracted amount at all, and in fact have taken money out of their pocket, which they have reimbursed. That's all in the financials. To when we replaced the water heater in unit 6, they bought the water heater up front and then it was replaced. So we've replaced several faucets. I don't understand. We had a couple of faucets, one that actually was screaming pretty good as far as hot water goes. And Keyway didn't replace them, yet Keyway was paying for the water. The logic behind that escapes me.
You know, we could go on and on about that.
That's true.
To be clear, this is not a county committee for anybody that's listening.
Right.
He just happens to be on the
Invested
board,
in it.
invested in it.
Yeah.
He's on the board.
And
And thank you for that.
yeah, and I wanted all of our community partners and stuff that, you know, and Sean Morrissey, Gina Edwards, none of this would have been possible without them. So just thank you.
Joe, do you have anything?
We had the budget work session Wednesday night with the Board of Health. Like Lee said, it went a-okay. Let's see here. Saturday, I attended the legislative forum at the library at 7:00, and they hit 8 or 10 different subjects from water quality funding, which I was surprised on the water quality funding. Nikki said there's $546 million spent on that each year, which I was surprised. And they talked about the Kraton. Is it Kraton that at the smoke shops? Discussed that. Property tax bill, health insurance. I could go on and on, but it was a good session. And Mindy asked, when you go, you submit your questions to Mindy, who is the chamber president, or not president, she's a executive director, and then she asks the questions. I thought it went real good, and they all three hung around afterwards for a while and took some more questions from the audience. So that's all I've got.
Let me see. We had a snow event or a wind event on the 16th. I had extension on the 17th, but that has nothing to do with the county. Board of Health meeting on Wednesday night. I had Simcoe during the day on Wednesday. Other than that, other than having to deal with you guys on a daily basis, I was good last week. And I'm glad you both all three of you are feeling better. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
We're actually going to get this done in time.
Yeah.
Any public comments? Any public comments from Zoom? Any public comments? Hearing none, I would.
Sorry, I made a mess.
It's okay. Your wife said you do that live.
I know it, and she usually cleans up after me, so thank you.
I want you guys to look at, if you looked at the,
And I was just gonna say to the chair that I've reviewed the claims and I don't know how the board wants to do this, but I would like to approve of the claims. You should have a copy of it.
I do, I will say this, that there is one claim with somebody who owes us a lot of money, and I don't think we should pay that.
And that's, so whatever the motion is, I would like the motion to not include that sum of money, which is $219.
It's just the grand total here.
Yeah,
Minus them, no.
The grand total is $149,450.46 minus the $219.
Is that even? 219 even?
Yes.
219 even, yes.
Lee, did you make a motion?
I did not.
Oh, I thought, I'll make the motion then since I read the figures.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Hearing a motion in a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And
Thank you
I
very
did,
much.
by the way, to inform the board, I did send an email off to the county attorney's office to ask where we were at
Thank you.
in that,
Thank
on
you.
that situation.
Thank you. I suppose we should ask Shannon if she has anything about the budget to talk to us, because she always does.
So while we're waiting for Shannon to come in,
Well, either that or we got run and do that, but we will then be free. We will then have a recess till 10.
okay.
I did the other day. I don't know if Susie signed off or not. No, she did not.
Didn't, I was waiting to see what happened. Because we're going to something if you guys have heard it.
That's my folder.
Would you set that back over there, Joe?
Sure I will.
To the people on Zoom, we are waiting for the auditor's office to get in here so we can talk about any budget issues she wants to discuss with us. And at 10 o'clock, the public hearing for the proposed property tax levy will start.
If I remember right, we have to sign out of this meeting and then restart the meeting, correct? Yes.
Yes, but we can't sign out until after the budget.
Yes, yes.
We don't have that way, since we made it through this, we don't have to restart the meeting.
So I think I've heard from you on everything except, I just wanted to hear from you if those were the numbers you wanted to go with on environmental health. In that far right column there, this is what Jerry said that he had talked to everyone about at the Board of Health meeting. I just wanted to confirm that these are the numbers that you wanted to go with.
I believe we left before this was finalized.
Okay, okay,
All three of us left.
okay. Oh, this is
Thank you for
this
this.
is the most recent that he turned in.
Sure. Was this on Friday you turned this in?
The meeting was on Wednesday, so
Thursday
he
afternoon.
brought this in Thursday morning. He was in first thing after that Board of Health meeting. Is that right? It was on Wednesday last week?
I think so.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, so he brought this in Thursday morning then.
So I have questions. How much are we adding to this budget?
Let's see. So adding from his initial request or adding from the current year?
Hmm,
He had initially for next year's budget, he had initially asked for 91,400.
That's for next year's budget.
Yeah, and now he's asking for 104,165.
For next year's budget?
Mhm.
And what does this contract allow him to ask for? Because I have the understanding it's just a dollar amount.
Yeah, his contract is just for the payment to his business, and it's 77,200. But that would not include the well abandonment, because those are,
That's through does.
yep.
Yeah.
Lee, I was just saying that I think that I've heard from you guys on everything for the budget proposal, except I haven't heard whether you're okay with moving forward with the numbers that are on this sheet that Jerry turned in for environmental health. So
Well,
that
we
we're
have-
down to just that.
Yeah, we haven't had an opportunity. to-
No. Hasn't been a meeting since then, so I think those are the only things that I need to have answered before we can go forward with the proposal. And if you don't feel like you're ready to make a decision on this today, then we don't have to. We can push it back as much as 2 more weeks.
So I have a question. This is just for me. Jerry's contract was for 77,000 and some change.
Yep.
And he wants us as a board to okay a higher amount, which is what?
104,165.
To make it through this year?
No, we're talking about next year's.
Okay. I am.
So he's a vendor. Why are we paying him mileage? He has a telephone out there. Is he billed separately for the telephone or is this his cell phone?
It's his cell phone.
Why should we pay for that?
We shouldn't.
Also, the educational and training. He's got $1,000 budgeted. We shouldn't have to pay for that. He's a vendor.
So in my mind, this is what the contract is. And let's say this young man has a contract with us and it's for a dollar amount to do the job. That should be included in the contract amount, is my opinion.
And I think the simplest way, at least we may need to look at it is, and I apologize for using this analogy again, but when I worked for Walker's, Ross was your vendor. Ross had contracts on your copier to repair it. My training, my certification to be able to repair that, he paid for. That was the cost of doing business. So when I came in here to work on your copier, or Jerry comes in to work on your copier, all of those certifications and requirements are the expense of the vendor. We don't, in my opinion, we don't pay for certifications. He's required to be certified to be able to. And that was the agreement, that he would be certified to do this job. And so therefore, it's incumbent upon him to get certified and pay for those certifications and the training and the cost to access that training.
So essentially, Lee, we have a contract for X amount of dollars.
Right,
That's it.
right.
Because anything else is that business's expenses, not our expenses.
And all the revenue generated.
Yeah.
So for example, he's contracted, the vendor is contracted to write the grants to counties.
I understand.
Yeah. To reimburse for wells and so on and so forth. There's a certain amount of that goes to the county. Because we're paying them, the vendor, technically to get that training. That's what that amount of money that you referenced is for. The county / public health should be able to.
What do you mean the county / public health?
Well, what I'm saying is that public health is part of the county, it goes into the general fund. But what I'm saying is that it's coming out of this budget. This budget needs to be reimbursed through the grants that are available to reimburse those expenses that we have included in the contractual agreement. Also, all of the septic well permits, which is revenue that comes in directly, that goes towards that contracted dollar amount to help fund that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that all of the revenue that comes in, that there's certain revenue that he needs to access via writing grants, the vendor needs to access via writing grants, plus other revenue that comes in as a result of permits and so on and so forth, is in the revenue column to help offset that contracted amount that we've agreed to, whatever that is. We're paying the phone. And what, let me back up, the vendor's paying rent. Out of that rent, we can pay for the phone. You know, that sort of thing. So what I'm saying is that everything is there. So whatever the Board of Health contracts with, we either accept the contracted amount or we don't, but whatever that contracted amount is, to Susie's point, everything is paid out of that. And all of the revenue that is received goes back to help offset that cost. Period. It's nothing, it's no more difficult than that.
Excuse me.
So what I hear is we aren't ready right now to make this decision.
Ed's got something he wants to.
I'm sorry, yeah. But from a legal standpoint, I know the board's been concerned in the past about a person being an employee
Yes,
versus a
absolutely.
contracted person.
Yes.
And an employee, you have responsibilities for paying for continuing education, for mileage and those things. But if you have a contract with a corporation, that contract, whatever's in the written contract governs. And so you should refer to that written contract to show what it is. And that contract should reflect that it's a corporation, not an employee, employer-employee.
Which it does, it does reflect that, which is my whole point, which is Susie's point, and Joe's point, I think.
Yeah.
It quite simply is that we pay the vendor. It's not unlike PCS coming in here and charging to fix the computer. But the gentleman or the lady that comes in and fixes the computer is his or her training, all of that information, all of that is being, the cost of that is being borne by the vendor. And we pay what the.
Or the contracted amount.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's important to make sure your contract.
And if we
is
don't do
structured
that,
way.
right, and if we don't do that, just for the sake of argument, going back to a former environmental health or emergency management, this where IPERS came in. We were providing computers, we were providing office space, we were providing mileage, we were providing a vehicle, and the utility, we were providing everything. And also establishing the hours that the individual worked, and IPERS said, this person's an employee,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
by definition would be.
So right now, we're talking about the contract from July 1st on.
Right.
What about prior, what about the time we're in now?
Well-
Why are we reimbursing or adding money to a contract?
Well, I'm not advocating we add money. What I talked to Shannon about was that there is some revenue that came in.
I just want to be clear about that.
Right, there is revenue that came in, there is revenue that's there. So for example, if you look at the well testing and abandonment line item on the revenue side of the budget, you'll see that he budgeted 10,000, or the vendor budgeted 10,000, but it generated 11,614.90. If you also look down there on miscellaneous reimbursement, and I have no idea what that is, but according to this, the year-to-date activity is $3,219 and I think 72 cents. So my point simply is that additional 1,614, that 3,219, there's a couple of other places in here, 175 for water well permits. And no, I didn't read that one right. I apologize.
So I thought all money that came in went to the county, not to that individual.
Well, but we have to do a budget amendment to have the authority to spend it, and we can, that way we can apply it we can use the asset to offset the.
So that means
debt.
this side of the year, this side of July 1st, we're doing it one way, and then we get to July 1st, we're doing it another way? Shannon?
We've been doing it that way, but I think maybe that could be reversed. The money that was given to him
Mhm.
for, we could consider that part of his contract payment.
Mhm.
What was
Because,
the
but
mileage
we need to hear from you guys and the board that that's what you want.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I just, where I would, how do I want to say this? What I was trying to accomplish, maybe, was that there was revenue in here
Mhm.
that,
So does that mean the revenue that's in there that you think you can do this with now, after July 1st, that same revenue, can they use that too?
no, well, in the new contract, well, I don't know what they've contracted with him for. We haven't really seen the contract yet, but
No.
the, God, why can't I can't, too many drugs.
Congestion.
Yeah, to your point, and I understand where you're coming from, and I agree with you 150%. Moving forward to July 1st, this is the dollar amount, whatever that is. You could do a flow chart if you would. So here's the dollar amount.
Mhm.
Okay, all of the expenses go down here to this box. Expenses comes out of that dollar amount that's appropriated to the vendor. That's all of those expenses with the, and then there might be some expenses here like and all the revenues, so the rent, the septic permits, the well net, everything, all of the grant money that comes in comes over here as revenue. That goes down here to the general fund.
Mhm.
Now, we pay some things out of that general fund, the phone, the landline that's out there. Okay. We obviously pay the utilities out there, you know, that sort of thing. And
So when Dwayne, the roads department, agreed to rent that for $100, the utilities were included in that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
which I consider a phone a utility, but I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's what, yeah, I agree.
right. So that's the, you know, the 1,200. We said the other day, the additional computer, we don't need two people. If he needs a person, if the vendor needs a person, if Ross needs an extra technician, Ross has to hire the extra technician.
Yes.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, if he thinks he needs 2 computers, that's up to him,
Right.
at his expense.
But we want the one computer. We cover the cost of that. And the reason, Ed, is because we want all of the information that comes in belongs to the county.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, what I think I hear you saying, Susie, is what I'm saying. Back to the Board of Health. Give me a number starting July 1st. And all of the revenue, and we expect the contract to read that all of the revenue that is generated, including the grant writing that he does,
Mhm.
or that the vendor does,
Mhm.
comes to the board of, or to the public health / county.
To
All of the
to the Board of
expenses.
Health,
Huh.
to the Board of Health. You wouldn't take it, you said public health.
Well,
We
Board of
would-
Health doesn't have, I mean, Board of Health just oversees public health.
Mhm.
The money comes into public health,
Mhm.
and into the general fund. But my point is, all the revenue comes into the general fund to help offset the cost of environmental health.
Mhm.
That's all,
So after July 1st, I'm worried about what we're doing now.
right?
Yes, I am too.
No, I don't disagree with you, but what she's placed in front of us in part is for next year as well.
Yes.
And we
Yeah,
have,
because I really want to focus on next year, because that's the one, we will have a budget amendment coming out where you can focus on his current year.
Oh, okay, in other
But
words, you're
today,
saying.
really, we
Be
need
quiet,
to,
Susie, okay.
no, I'm just saying we need to focus on next year for now, because that's what we're having to send the
Okay, I'm
notice out
sorry
on
then,
in the
Shannon, I
next 2
understand,
weeks.
I understand.
As a point of legal procedure, if I could raise that, and I apologize for interrupting,
You,
but the current, you have a contract and I don't know if it's to the corporation or to him or how it's done. But for the next year, you want to look carefully at that contract and what is worded in that contract, because that determines the county's liability and determines part of the issue of independent contractor versus employee.
That's part of the problem. It doesn't
Understand.
specifically spell out those kind of expenses in the contract.
That should be done.
But since it isn't spelled out, then we shouldn't be responsible
Versus
for it, right?
Correct.
And the contract states, it does not establish an employee-employer relationship between Jefferson County and LWR Inc. and all obligations under this contract shall be performed by LWR Inc.
That's. Yeah, and it,
And I interpret that,
yeah,
All means all.
did he draft the
sorry.
contract?
No, that's
can
all
I
right.
answer that question?
Yeah.
Just the budget.
Kinda, sorta.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, it's okay.
That contract-
I
The
Thank you.
type font
And we
looks
do
kind
need
of
to-
different.
work on the budget amendment.
That
but we're just not
contract,
quite there yet.
We need to do it
Is-
first.
The same contract that regional utility service systems had, with the exception of interjecting a different name
Okay,
in dollar figures. And there's a couple of other, in the termination part, the vendor went 120 days instead of 60 or 90, whatever. But that contract was the same contract,
okay.
almost verbatim.
I know, but it really has.
The
that's
only
just
point
what
I
it is.
wanted to make is if there is ambiguity or confusion about interpreting a contract, it's construed against the person that made the contract. So it's important to be explicit in the contract if we're making it up as to who's responsible for what, for looking toward the future.
Did the Board of Health pass the new contract under the new name?
Yes, they
Okay.
did. They
Okay.
did. Yes.
But everything else was the same other than
Yep,
the
it was
name.
just the name change. It's all that changed.
Well, and I've said before, and I still believe this, that this is a circumstance of where you want to have your cake and eat it too. In other words, there's times I want to be a contractor and there's times I want to be an employee, and I think we're all on the same page. You're gonna be a contractor. We told the Board of Health that in two separate
But that's
meetings.
not how they did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Right.
Well, I think his claims was turned in and somebody was misled by somebody is what I think.
It's up to us to fix it.
It's,
Yes.
Well, and Chauncey gave us legal advice the other day
Mhm.
when he said the contract reads 77,200.
And I agree with that.
And so where we're at here, well, we're looking at, you're wanting answers about
next year.
Yeah.
and the 104.
Because if we're going to go with the earliest possible date, I have to send it to the newspapers by Thursday.
Sure. Sure.
But you could push it off 2 more weeks. You've got up until April 30th to pass the budget.
Your public hearing concerning if there's something that affects the public hearing is the only issue that I would have about postponing it. I don't know if that,
The public hearing that they're having later today.
yeah, I don't know if
No,
that's.
the one for today is just on the max levies and
Oh,
it's
that's
just
good then.
strictly
Good,
for,
good, good.
for public comment.
I'm sorry, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So where I'm at on this, Shannon, Susie, Joe, is I need educated. We don't have to approve this, but you want us, but you also have a deadline of Thursday to get it.
If we want to stick with the earliest possible
Okay,
hearing.
So if we go ahead right at the moment with this, we can increase it, but we can reduce it.
Yes. That's a good point.
Yeah,
So-
because yeah.
So you could propose this and publish it as is, and then at your or at or before your hearing on April 13th, you could reduce it. You just can't increase it.
So this year he wants to go to the dollar amount
104,000, oh, the current year? Or next
For
year?
next year.
Next year. 104,165.
So that's a $32,000 increase, which I don't like. I'm sorry.
And what I will tell you, just so you know, for your information, everybody's information, he's basing that off of 24-25, which was where regional utility service systems was at. But keep in mind, they plugged in $50,500. Okay.
Yeah.
And their actual amount that we paid them in that contract was $78,000. And they covered everything.
It's not taking his contracted amount to 104,000, right?
Right.
That's his budget.
His budget got his contract.
The contract amount that he's got in here is that first line. He
And
still
does that
has the
include
70.
mileage and all that?
He put mileage on the line in here,
Yes.
which is what I understand you guys are saying no to. And he's also got the education and training in there.
So he's showing 64,000
Phone.
in revenue, am I correct? 64,375.
He's got 77,555 on this version.
You know, I like German chocolate cake.
That's coconut, right?
Hate it. Yes,
I hate it.
Hey, Jane's gonna run out and get her some cake.
cake and eat it too. That's the comment I'm going.
Oh,
Oh, I gooped that up. I'm sorry.
Please help these guys.
It's AJ's fault. I saw that coming. Okay, so he's proposing $77,555 in revenue against $104,165 in expenses.
You know, I always thought a contract's a contract. You know, it's, you know, if he wants to buy a new car or wash his truck, then he drives around, you know. That's not our business.
Well, I think though that we have to show the revenue to be able to have the authority to spend it, and that would be applied back towards the 104. So the difference is $27,000. He's suggesting, or he's indicating $77,000 in revenue.
Except the other comment in that I would have is he's saying for the well abandonment, he'll get $50,505. But then for the expense, he only has 20,000.
Which,
So he's not, if he only spends 20,000 on well abandonment, he's not gonna get reimbursed 50,000.
you're right, but what he's doing is, and if you go back and you look, for example, on 24-25, the regional utility service systems plugged in 50,505. And if you look at the well abandonment line item, they had 20,500. You saying, okay, well, it's the same thing. And you're right, it is. And let me explain where it going with this. That 20,500 is what I'm going to give AJ. Okay, what I'm going to give Ed.
Not gonna give it to you.
All of the people that abandon wells, that's that pass through. The other $30,000 is revenue that's coming in that stays into the general fund to offset the other expenses. Does that make sense? That's what he's proposing. That's what
No,
regional
because
utility
we've
service
never,
systems.
I mean, it doesn't make sense because we've never gotten that much. Like, if you look at the history, in 24-25, we got $2,700. So it's inflating our projected revenues.
Well, see, I don't know when Russ left, I'm not sure that, and the other vendor took over, there was a lot of things that didn't occur as far as that part of it goes. But you can go back and you can look, even when Dan was here, that's the way that it was run. He plug in 30,000 and then he showed 30,000 on the revenue side.
But Dan didn't have a contract. He was
No,
an
no, no.
employee.
He was an
I get
employee,
that. I'm just
yes.
talking about the well
Yeah.
abandonment program,
Okay.
the grants to counties.
Mhm.
It's always been shown that way as a because you plug in everything that you can potentially get.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, you can't get it.
I understand that, Lee, but I
Yeah.
think right now we're trying to deal with the dollar amount for this contract. I'm sorry.
Which at this point, if we just give her the authority to publish it, we can always lower it. It doesn't etch it in stone. It just allows her to move
So
forward.
let's say we do that. We go with whatever. What's it gonna take to undo this? By the 30th, correct?
Yeah, you would
Okay.
just have a few weeks to get
To
those
discuss
new
it.
numbers to me,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
to discuss it further.
And I'm with you, Susie.
You would have clear through till
Till
April
30th,
13th.
okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to make any decisions until you have your hearing.
Mhm, mhm. I think it just sends.
And I
out
think
the-
Jerry said that the Board of Health would be willing to meet again with you guys if that's something that you want
I have no
to
clue.
do.
We all left before they got done the other
Yeah,
night.
he mentioned that they would be willing to have another special meeting.
I don't know how much, I'm fine with that, but I don't know how much clearer we can make it. You establish what you're going to pay him and he pays for everything out of that. That, to me, that's as clean and as simple as I can make it.
I think, of course, if they want to have a meeting, I think all of us would do that. But it almost sends a thing that we're considering that. You know, and I just think we just need to make a decision.
Well, I would like, I guess, ask the chair that we're not approving anything, that we just give Shannon the permission to publish. Because we know that we can't come back and reduce this, that this is not what we're going to ultimately end up with. Because we can always lower it.
So by doing what you want or suggested, we're just buying time
Yes.
to do what we probably should do.
Right. But what I don't know is, I mean, we can say, no, we're not going to accept these numbers, but then she can't publish,
I understand that.
you know. And I can say very clearly, I'm not going to accept these numbers because it doesn't read the way in my brain, it doesn't read the way I want it to.
Yeah, in my mind, we're talking apples and oranges,
Yeah.
but what would you like us to do? What would make it easier for you?
It doesn't matter to me either way. If you feel like you're okay with moving forward with publishing these numbers with the knowledge that you can reduce it, we can go ahead and do that. Or if you want to wait a couple weeks, you can wait a couple weeks and try to get it refined a little
Do you have an
further.
opinion, Joe? I know you do.
Really? I'm surprised. If we can approve this now and then reduce later, just so Shannon can get it published, I'm all in favor of that.
I don't like the word prove, but I get where you.
No, I mean, okay,
And I felt like you guys wanted to stick with the earliest possible hearing, so that would keep you on track for that.
Okay. I suppose anybody listening will know how we really feel about stuff, so.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is the crapshoot that the folks that are gonna read it in the paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Of course, the print's so stinking small, I don't know who can see it, but that's okay.
I
Shannon,
don't think we can deal with
Shannon is
that.
the engineer, we're just passengers. Keeping
Okay,
her
are
on
we
the straight
all
and
in
narrow.
agreement that we'll do it Shannon's way?
Aye, yes.
So what's Shannon's way?
Shannon's.
Shannon's gonna publish what we just said, knowing that we can undo
Yeah,
it.
that was
Okay.
Lee's way.
He forgot that.
Oh. Okay, so do I need to make a motion? Is that what I need?
I
No,
don't think it's a discuss and consider thing.
and you wanted to stay on track for your hearing on the 13th, right?
Yes.
That's Yeah, that's the earliest possible time that you could have your hearing, and I felt all along like you felt like you were ready to go forward with
Yeah.
keeping it on track
And
for
thank
that.
goodness the 13th is not on Friday for
Yeah.
first time in 3 months.
And
Well, I
what,
would like
what time do you think that you would like to have that,
Have what?
the hearing on the 13th?
When
Cause
is
I'll need to put that in the notice too.
What's Monday?
3 weeks, you know.
So I would like to also ask the board while we're in this, having this discussion. Discuss and consider. I don't know that we need to meet with the Board of Health again. If the board wants to, I'm okay with that. But I would like to discuss and consider the Board of Supervisors sending the Board of Health the maximum dollar amount that we will allow. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say, we establish what we're willing to budget and the criteria around that.
I can kind of see that.
Okay.
But we would be giving the Board of Health a dollar amount. We'd just be increasing the dollar amount because they decide who gets what for the sanitation and the public health.
Right, we would just what we're telling the Board of Health, what we're going to appropriate toward
You're
that
gonna,
budget.
you're saying this is your allowance.
Right,
Okay,
how you spend it,
is up to you.
right.
Okay,
Are you guys thinking 9 o'clock on that 13th?
that'd be
Public
on
hearing.
Mondays. We'd have to start the meeting and go through that.
And that's when they did it last year.
Mhm.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
year you had it at 9
You have
o'clock.
adjourn and stuff.
No,
No,
not for
No.
just
that
a
one.
Not
regular
for that
public
one.
hearing.
Okay,
9 a.m. on the 13th.
All right, you guys have 3 minutes.
Okay, real quick, so that we put that question I just brought up as a separate line item on the agenda after the regular agenda, I would like to establish.
Next week.
Well, yeah,
Next
what we will
week.
appropriate
Yeah,
to environmental.
we may or may not change that. Let's not say we're going to. We are.
But we need to do a discuss and consider.
Absolutely.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I know none of us feel good. Abby has it. We're good.
Got it.
Okay.
Look at that. Still have 2 minutes left.
Oh, well, shoot. Anybody got committee reports?
Well, that's done.
Already
been
through that, Lee.
What have you been up to, AJ?
I thought I was gonna have time to get McDonald's.
Oh,
You guys ruined that.
So we move to
You know, I
adjourn.
had a McDonald's 3 hours ago. Where were you?
No.
I was
sorry,
working.
Should we? Yes, we
That's
should.
what I was doing.
Okay, I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.